And we back once again. It's your boys, no jobbers allowed, and we back with another Raw review. This time for Monday, December 31st, New Year's Eve edition. And like always, it's your boy Big Ish, and with me, like always, is
Man, it is your guy Erwin, and Happy New Year, Big Ish, man.
Happy New Year, you too, bro.
Dude, it's crazy to me that we started a whole podcast in the year 2018. I'm excited to see what this next year brings, man.
Hey man, I feel like nowhere to go but up, man.
Dude, nowhere to go but up. And we're gonna start off this Raw review by kicking it in hard like they did on to start off Raw, where we had a cage match with Dolph Ziggler versus Drew McIntyre. And man, this was a hell of a match, man. This saw Drew McIntyre actually going over after he hits a huge Claymore or two huge Claymore kicks on Dolph Ziggler to win. I really, really like this. The biggest part was actually what happened after the match. So tell me what you liked about this Big Ish and kind of elaborate what happened on at the end of the match.
Oh man, the match was great because, like we always say, you get these two guys together, they do really good work. But even better with the gimmick of the cage, they used it pretty well. Like one of the spots where Ziggler was trying to go over
Mm-hmm.
and escape the cage, but McIntyre caught up to him. But then Ziggler got the upper hand by banging McIntyre's face against the cage. I mean, then you had other spots where you get to the middle of the ring and McIntyre hit a beautiful Glasgow kiss, which is his famous headbutt.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just an overall back and forth match. It shows you why both wrestlers are really, really good. It shows you how they can entertain the crowd, and it shows you that they can have a really, really good match and a really, really long match. Sometimes those two things are not one and the same. Some people can't go that long and entertain that long. You got to have short matches. But these two had a pretty decently length match and kept me entertained throughout. And then, of course, when McIntyre hit those two Claymore kicks,
Devastating.
woo! And you know we always say we love his Claymore kick, one of my favorite finishers in the WWE right now, and he hit it twice, just uncorked two good ones on Ziggler. So he ended up with the win. He pinned him in the center of the ring after the second kick. And then I know Irwin wants to let me elaborate, but I'm going to let him elaborate on the actual aftermatch happenings.
Dude, man. So after the match, Ziggler is just laid out, but he's getting up, man. He's getting up, and Drew actually grabs a steel chair, bro, and puts Ziggler's head between the chair and the cage, hits him with another Claymore kick, cuts a hell of a promo. Just talking about how he's destined to win the Royal Rumble and he's going to go on to be the Universal Champion. And then he leaves and then comes back and gets another Claymore kick, and it's just solidifying Drew as that man. I think that they're gonna go with him as one of your staple heels, but they could possibly turn him as a face. They can do whatever they want to with him. Um, Man, I just really like the way that this opening segment took place, and just kind of like Big Ish elaborated on, it was a great match that had a steady build throughout, and it just showed. It gave Drew a little bit more time to shine after he's been kind of stuck in this tag team for a while. So I really, really loved it, man.
It was a great match, man. Let's go ahead and
It was
hit the
great.
next one.
So then we get a limousine pulling up backstage, and out comes Shane McMahon and Triple H. And they look like they're all business and they're all ready to go, man. So we get to see them a little later. Next, we go out to the ring and we get Seth Rollins, man, and Seth Rollins is really fired up about getting his rematch for the Intercontinental title against Dean Ambrose. You know how they do that the mandatory rematch clause. Um, And Rollins is waiting for Dean Ambrose to come out. Dude, but we get Triple H, man. Triple H's music hits. Pretty much hits a promo on Seth Rollins, saying he's not going to get an Intercontinental title match, man. Dude, then they go back and forth. Rollins is saying what he has to say. Triple H is saying what he has to say, and it's a hell of a promo, man. I haven't heard anything this good on Raw in a while, man. And pretty much what they're saying is Rollins is, saying, I'm the man. I've done everything in 2018, and I'll keep on doing whatever I need to do. And Triple H ends up saying, I want you to burn it down tonight. I want you to be the guy. And tonight you're going to be the guy against the almighty Bobby Lashley.
Well, to me, I'm sorry to cut you
No,
off.
Keep going. No, of course
but
not.
But to me, they're kind of piggybacking off of what SmackDown just did, though, with AJ Styles and Vince McMahon.
100%.
Because Triple H basically going, hey, man, where's the old Seth Rollins?
100%.
Where's that animal? Where's the burn it, Kingslayer, burn it down? You've been kind of light lately. You lost your title and you think you're going to get an automatic chance? Nah, we got to see that same fire that you used to have, because Seth was rattling off his accomplishments of his classic matches against people like even how he could make a match with Mojo. Riley look good. And Triple H was like, so what you done lately? So it was one of those things where he was trying to pull out a angrier but more hungry Seth Rollins, and later. So what that ended up with was Triple H setting up a match with the almighty Bobby Lashley.
100%.
So,
and just like you said, I was going to get to that at the end of it. It pretty much mirrored what Vince is doing on SmackDown with AJ Styles. I liked it. I thought it was cool. In the middle of them, cutting their promos on each other, Shane's music comes on. He comes out to the ring. He announces that there's going to be a battle royal right now. The Fresh Start Battle Royal. And the winner of this battle royal will get a shot for the Intercontinental Championship. So that's how they end that little segment. And we get a battle royal for the number one contendership next, ma'am. And there's a lot of.
It was 15, maybe 20 man battle royal. 15.
There was a lot of people in there.
I think a lot of people.
The notable ones were pretty much Finn Balor, Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, and Kurt Hawkins. I remember Lucha House Party
was there. Lucha House Party.
Zack Ryder, Titus O'Neil,
Tyler Breeze.
No Way Jose.
Which I totally forgot he existed again.
Yeah, man.
And he actually been on maybe Raw 2 Mondays in a row, or at least been on Raw within the last couple of them. I was like, man, we really about to get No Way Jose. I know y'all been promising us faces and different people that we haven't seen in a long time, but really, are we getting No Way Jose and Mojo Riley?
Dude, everybody who we haven't really been seeing, man. And the sad part about this, not even the sad part, it was a decent battle royal.
The B team, go.
And really, I mean, I don't really want to go through this whole thing. It's your typical run of the mill battle royal, but it was really meant to showcase Apollo Crews, man. Apollo Crews went off in this one. He had 8 eliminations.
I think about 8 eliminations. Man.
8 eliminations.
Good eliminations.
He was running through people. They were really showcasing a lot of his power, a lot of his agility. And there was really, they kind of spotlighted Baron Corbin a little bit because he was the last one to get eliminated. But this match ended with Apollo Crews winning handily. Like we kind of knew he was going to win that whole time. And he gets a title shot at Dean Ambrose's Intercontinental title later. After the match, Crews is in the ring. Charlie Caruso comes in for an interview. He said this is what he's been asking for. This is what he's been begging for. And he can't think of a better way to spend the last day of 2018 than becoming the new Intercontinental Champion. Fans pop for it too, man. I pop for it. I liked it a lot. What'd you think about it, Big
I
Ish?
like Apollo Crews, man. Like only thing I would like better if he wasn't so cheery, so he could become a heel. I think there's more room to work with him as a heel than as a face. I think Raw suffers from the fact like there's only about three good heels on Raw, and everybody else damn near a babyface. So
And they play the same kind of baby faces, like Finn Balor, him, and shit. I mean, Seth Rollins is kind of a face right now, but doesn't play that same thing. But it's like very happy-go-lucky, smiley, like. And the thing with that to me is, not to get off on a huge tangent, nobody in life is really like that. Like, do you think Apollo Crews is running around smiling all the time, always happy? No, man. Like, he's huge, he's jacked. Give him a little bit of edge. Like, give him a little bit of a bad boy side, man. Like, that's what I think
but
they should do with him.
I actually don't feel that way. I do feel he's happy go lucky like that all the time. That's why I feel like he can't be the heel I want him to be because he's naturally cheerful. Like at the end of that battle royale, when he's getting his interview, he couldn't even uh, cut a good promo for himself because he's too cheerful. He couldn't get out his words. He's just overly smiling and like he's just naturally cheerful. That's why he can't be a heel.
But and we spoke about this in a podcast, probably one of our first couple podcasts.
Yeah,
What is he happy about? He should have a chip
exactly.
on his shoulders right now. He shouldn't be happy. He should be angry. He should be like, "This is what I've been working for. This is what I need to do. This is this." Kind of like, this is my time. Let's do this.
Yeah,
Just
he should have looked more determined than just happy.
this
Like
is
he'll
true.
look too happy and not enough determined and hungry.
That's
Hungry.
a much better way of putting it. I'm glad we figured that out. He need to be more hungry and less, "Oh, I'm grateful to be here and I've been working so hard." No, like,
Yeah, you shouldn't be grateful to be there because you worked your ass off to get there.
exactly. Oh man, we're talking
Okay,
about
so
Apollo Crews in
yeah, let's
2019.
and I'm happy for that.
That's good. Next segment, we get a backstage segment where um, the backstage announcer is pretty much interviewing Natalia, running through her 2018. Man, after she's running through it, Nia Jax shows up to kind of taunt her, and her and Tamina Snuka end up jumping her, and man, that sets up for our main event, man. So we get another Natalia getting beat up again by a team. And at the same time, though, like, again, Nia Jax shouldn't need help from Tamina to beat up Natalia. They're trying to
None.
sell her as this superstar who's breaking faces and doing all this stuff. She does not need Tamina Snuka. Like,
What is
never.
to we say this all the time, but what is Tamina useful for in this storyline? Why is she useful?
She
What?
doesn't make she doesn't make Nia look more menacing. Like, she's she has no use. I'm gonna say that she has no use for me personally. I'm sure she's a very nice lady, and she has to feed her family, and I'm not knocking her hustle. But in this story, she has no
Yeah, and the
use.
storyline that they've been using her for, they've been using her. Oh, she's the muscle and blah blah blah. No, Nia is her own muscle. She never need. That was the whole point of Nia Jax name being the irresistible force.
Exactly.
She already is her own muscle. She don't need outside help. And Tamina being added only drops her in my eyes, honestly, because I don't think Tamina makes Nia any more dominant
Not at all.
or any more scary.
Not
I
at
think
all.
Nia is scary within her own right, and
I agree with you
that's why I
300%.
think. Let's go. Let's
I
go.
agree with you 300%. We can get to them later in the evening. So then next we get a Baron Corbin segment. He's in the ring and he's still talking about how everything is unfair, and he's still going on with that how he was un unrightfully wronged with the whole general manager thing. But then he gets interrupted by Elias. Elias does his normal shtick. Does the walk with Elias thing? Calls Corbin a loser. They end up starting to brawl on the ramp, and pretty much what this looks like is we're going to get a Baron Corbin Elias feud because Corbin stumbles away at the end of this fight. So yeah, we're going to get another Corbin Elias feud, man. Which entertainment wise, I'm not super excited for. I mean, I'm super excited for, but in the ring work, I'm not looking forward to this payoff, man.
The promos and back and forth is going to be amazing because it's Elias, but like you said, the in-ring work probably not so much. And I like Baron as a worker.
He's good.
I don't know with this Elias. Maybe it's just Elias and Corbin are going to work better in this feud than Elias and Bobby in their feud. So
hopefully, man. But so the same thing with Corbin is kind of how I feel. I like Lashley more, but it's like Corbin's a good worker with a terrible character.
Yes.
Elias is a terrible worker with a great character. So, yeah. And that's kind of how it was with Lashley, where it's like, awesome worker. They were working on his character. They added Leo Rush to it. We'll be excited for what we see. We'll see how it pans out. Next, we get another.
You know what? If Elias was a manager and he managed a good talented worker, it would be awesome.
It'd be great, man. It'd be great.
But Elias too damn big not to be in the ring. So
yeah, he's swole as fuck, man. He's one of those throwback superstars where it's like, like a lot of the new superstars today are a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact. Dude's swole, muscled up. So yeah, I'm still wondering what they're gonna do with all that. And I guess 2019 we'll have to unravel and we'll see how that goes. We get another backstage segment where everybody's making New Year's resolutions. Drake Maverick, Authors of Pain, want to be more brutal and barbaric. Riot Squad want to apply more pressure. Zack Ryder wants to get on more matches in Raw and collect more WWE action figures. Ends up with a conga line with No Way Jose. 2 No Way Jose sightings in one episode. The backstage segment really didn't make much sense because he just lost the Battle Royal. Why is he conga lining? Like, be angry about that. Be upset. Stop doing dumb shit. We get a match though. We get a 6-woman tag where we get Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Ember Moon versus Big Ish's favorite, the Riot Squad.
You already know what it is. It's Riot Squad all day, every day, gang.
And it was pretty much by the numbers. It was very, very good. I'm glad they're showcasing more female talent again. The fact that we talked about this so much in 2018 is amazing. We've gone a long way from, the king yelling puppies at ringside and women only being in bikini pillow fight, hot tub matches. Yeah. And this match was a pretty good back and forth contest where Bayley gets the win for her team after the Macho Man elbow drop off the top rope. And, the Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Ember Moon are celebrating, and it is exactly kind of what we wanted to see. Ember Moon looked good. Sasha Banks looked good. Bayley looked good. The Riot Squad even looked good. It just great potential.
The only problem is they getting stuck in these 6-womans.
Yes.
Instead of we know Sasha and Bayley are on the short list for the women's tag title.
They're winning those straps, man. They're winning those straps.
We already know that. The problem is Riot Squad should be doing more to sell Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan as a dominant duo.
Yes.
As opposed to the trio. Like we said this before. Mm-hmm. Ruby need to focus on singles. Those 2 ladies need to focus on the tag titles and becoming a better duo. We don't need to see we need to see Ruby at ringside, not participating in the matches, or just on an interference basis. And Ember, she don't need to be nowhere near tag competition. Nope. She also needs to keep her foot on the gas in the singles competition. So once again, she comes down. So the match would have been a lot better as a traditional tag match with Ember and Ruby at ringside, trying to keep the other at bay from interfering in the match. And that would have been a lot better because now you're actually setting up your women's tag division, and you're making sure that when you do drop your straps that they already had good actual traditional tag team.
Man, I am applauding you right now because that is exactly what I was thinking. And even to spice it up a little more, the Riot Squad is a unit. Of course, Bayley and Sasha Banks, they should have came out first. And then the Riot Squad should have came out, as, like you said, Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan as the tag team with Ruby Riot, in their corner. And even with that, it should have been, Ruby Riot's trying to, do everything she can to distract Bayley and Sasha Banks. And then as the neutralizer,
Amber should have came out.
She
shouldn't have came out with them as a team. Yep. She should have came down as help, running down a ramp.
That sets up your singles feud where you could even have, which I'm happy with.
Exactly.
We on the same page, man. We should be the bookers, man.
Yeah,
we should be booking this shit.
Now that sets up and that would be a good feud too. Ember Moon and Ruby Riot.
Yep.
Now some people would consider that a downgrade considering Ember was just on top because a lot of people don't consider Ruby a top tier competitor. I do. So I don't think that would lower Ember Moon's stock to have a feud right now with Ruby Riot. And it would have been the perfect setup Monday night if they would have did a traditional tag team with Ruby in the corner. Ruby interferes. Ember Moon comes down there and gets to fighting with Ruby. And boom, next week they have a singles match.
Man, that's called continuity. That's how you create a storyline. Man, we should be bookers for WWE. Hire us, WWE. Hire us, man.
I hear they hiring interns.
Hey, man, we should
apply. Staff.
We should apply, man. I think that's genius right there. We'll move on. Love talking about female wrestling in the way that we are. I love it. But we get our match that we talked about earlier, where we have Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley, and Lio Rush actually cuts a promo, man. He's really hyping up Lashley before this match actually starts, saying he's a fighter. You know what fighters do. They fight. He's been handpicked by Triple H. Let's go see them do this, which is good because he wasn't showing his ass. He was just being a straight badass. And what he was doing is he was Lio Rush told him to dominate.
He was ready to fight.
Which is what they should be doing with this man, not having him walking around posing and looking like a fool. And they had a good match, man. Rollins is just that consummate worker, man. He's really, really good. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on this match, Big Ish?
Well, like you're saying, Rollins already is really, really good. And like we said earlier in the episode, Bobby is a really, really good worker. So to showcase his power game in the ring with Rollins, and then Rollins still managing to make it look good, because physically, Bobby Lashley should be a dominant force of nature.
Most definitely.
But Seth is so good that he makes it looks like in real life, he would have a chance against Bobby Lashley. So that's why Seth is such a good worker. He can make you believe he has a chance against all odds, when all odds should be stacked against him with somebody like Bobby Lashley. But he's just so good at what he does. He can take on anybody in the WWE and make it look like a fair game.
Yep.
And even against Bobby Lashley, it was a great match. Lashley showing the power game, and Seth Rollins really showing his finesse game, getting out of tough spots, showing his striking ability, and showing that he has a speed advantage over Bobby. So when he got those quick strikes, that's what can keep him in the ring and competing against a monster like Lashley. So it was a really good match. I truly enjoyed it, and maybe you can tell them what happened at the end. How the match out.
Yeah. So at the end, Lio Rush is doing his little interference thing where he's running around. Rollins gets fed up, man, grabs a steel chair, man, and hits Lashley with it, and referee calls for the bell. End of the match, man. Rollins goes crazy, man. He's hitting Lashley with the chair. He's hitting Rush with the chair. He ends up curb stomping Lio Rush, man, and it really kind of solidified What
Leo Rush sold the hell
the
out of
stomp?
that curb stop too,
Dude,
man.
he like hit the top of his head on the mat and like
And
flipped
then did a
over.
whole flip. It was, I enjoyed that, man. Leo Rush is a great seller.
Dude, he's solid, man. And what this did is it added continuity, like we've been talking about, which WWE's been very, very good. Where um, Rollins, he just didn't just win. He brought out that animal, brought out that fire, brought out the burn it down guy. He fought off two foes. Ended up having to use a chair to get what he had to do, but he had to do what he had to do. And
And
what
that
I
was
think,
the whole point was he did what he had to do. He didn't need to win.
nope.
He needed to dominate.
And what this did is hopefully I'm right about this. Just hear me out on this one. So when I think wrestling is its best, it's when, like you said, with the women's match, where it's they build the card to be solid from top to bottom. When we have no jobbers matches, when we have no nothing as far as bad content. And it seems like what they're doing right now is they're creating different tiers as far as the upper echelon of superstars. Kind of like back in the day, whereas you had you know Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold fighting for the world title, but then you had The Rock and Triple H fighting for the Intercontinental title. Well, while those were in the title scene, you had Undertaker and Mankind fighting each other for just that big name feud to where like everything matters. And hopefully they're setting that up to where, since these guys may not be having a belt feud right now, they're feuding with each other, which is going to be good. While Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar feud for the big belt, and while we use that Intercontinental title, to make stars like it was made, back in the day. Whereas like Chris
The
Jericho and Chris Benoit were going for the Intercontinental title, where it's not always
but
like
the problem is they made the titles encompass the whole show.
exactly,
As
exactly.
opposed to where you can watch a non-titled Undertaker and Mankind match and know you're going to watch a good match and that
Exactly.
be as entertaining or as exciting as watching the titles.
Yeah,
Now
even as it's
only the
important too.
title matches are of the utmost importance and everything else is just jockeying for position.
So that right
And
now, though, what we can think about, and I mean, interrupt you, but maybe they're trying to actually create that kind of middle tier, upper echelon feud, kind of like that, to where they're gonna, they could do Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley again at the Royal Rumble, but have it be meaningful if they build it the right way.
I mean, it's possible, but
Truth.
the way to do it is you have to now focus on those rivalries that have nothing to do with the titles.
I agree. So then
And
that's where I was jockeying. Hopefully, that's what they're going for with some of these matches and with some of this stuff. I can only hope and I can only wish. We're really on the same page kind of today, just saying the
yeah,
same thing.
it's
With
it's it's they have to do it in a way where every show isn't just revolving around okay, who's next in line for
yep,
this title, and no, it just got to be a these two guys don't like each other or these two guys want to show how good they are. All right, let's see that. And let's just focus on the wrestling
yep.
as opposed to the title themselves.
I
So
have not agreed with you so much on one episode. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's come loopy. Maybe I'm still hungover from the new year. I don't know, but we
I'm
are agreeing a lot.
tired, so maybe I can't think of a good argument against you right now.
Dude, man. So this all makes sense. I liked it. Hopefully, we see more and more continuity as far as all this goes, man. I'm excited for it. Um, Next, we get a 3-on-2 handicap match: Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers versus Rhino and Heath Slater. That match ended with Jinder Mahal hitting his finisher on Rhino for the pin. Looks like we're going to continue that a little bit more. Um, then we get a backstage segment from Dean Ambrose talking about how he doesn't need a fresh start. He's the Intercontinental Champion. Woo woo woo! I can't wait to face Apollo Crews and ruin his feel good moment. I like that one a lot as far as I said that. So
It
then we
wasn't
get
a bad promo. It's just
no,
I didn't care as much.
See, that's
It
the big
wasn't
thing.
exciting, I should say. It was a good promo. It was
Just
very cookie cutter, straight up and straightforward. It just wasn't exciting.
no, not at all. And luckily, we followed this up with a pretty decent match, man, where we had Apollo Crews versus Dean Ambrose. This ended with Dean Ambrose getting the win with his Dirty D's DDT to win.
But to lead up to that, it was an amazing match by Apollo, man.
Yep.
He showcased all his talent in that match, from hitting his stand-in shooting star press, from his military pressing of Dean Ambrose, from his top rope work. He really jumping over the top rope, hitting Dean on the outside. Like, he showed all his characteristics and ability as a talented worker. Probably the most underrated worker they have on the Raw roster. And he needs to be showcased more in 2019. And after this match, I hope they realize that.
I agree. And one thing that I think that leads me to think that they're going to showcase him more. One, he just dominated this battle royal. Two, he got the segment after the battle royal. Three, he got this great match, and where he really got to showcase his talent. And at the end of the match, Apollo Crews is in the ring, and he looks on as Dean Ambrose is stumbling like back up the ramp. Like, Dean went through a war. They were like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, look at him. Like, so I really feel like this is going to be more. There's more to this for Apollo, which again I can only hope and wish, because we need to again, fill out this upper card, man, or fill out this mid card, so that we always have entertaining and people who are actually over with the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm liking what I'm seeing. And then we get a backstage segment with Alexa Bliss. She announces that she is going to debut her new talk show, A Moment of Bliss, and her first guest next week is the Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey. And we'll see how that goes.
I hope it's not like those segments she been having those last few weeks at the end of 2018 with those question segments.
The panels, those were weak.
Sasha and Bailey. If Moment of Bliss gonna be anything like that, she can keep that shit.
Yeah, man. Those were weak. Hopefully, I mean, they got Ronda Rousey on these, so hopefully they're trying to build it up to something more. Hopefully, they're trying to give Alexa something to do while she's recovering from all of her concussion protocol and getting ready to get back in the ring. I like it. She's a great talker, though.
Yeah, she is.
Great personality, man. I kind of like her personality more than I like her ring work. She's a more believable talker than she's a champion. Like, that would make sense, man, if like Tamina was fucking Alexa Bliss's like heater, her bodyguard. Like,
yeah, that would make sense.
And then, like, to betray Nia Jax, like all this kind of stuff, it would make more sense. Like, dude, we got to apply for this booking intern, man, or this creative intern. We'd kill it, man. We also get a video package hyping Brock Lesnar. He will be on next Monday's Raw. Then we get our main event where we get Ronda Rousey, who looks all pissed off, and Natalya versus Tamina Snuka and Nia Jax.
I ain't got much to say about it either. It was
Ronda Rousey makes Tamina Snuka tap out.
Yeah, it was a regular match. Ronda keeps looking better and better. Like, the only knock I got on Ronda is her when she hit her flurry of punches.
Yep.
You can tell she's holding back a lot because she really knows how to throw these punches, and it just doesn't come off well.
No, it was a cool thing, like when she did it against Triple H at WrestleMania. She was really tagging his ass, honestly. She was hitting him with these punches.
But yeah, it's lately I can tell she's really pulling these punches because I don't think she wants to really be too stiff.
Yep.
Too stiff with the ladies, but you got to be just a little bit so they can sell properly, because it doesn't look like you're punching them at all.
No, it just looks like she's swinging her hands around and they're not even reacting. Yeah, they're not even reacting the correct way.
So, That's my only knock against Ronda. Other than that, she's been looking incredible lately. So, not Natalya. Hey, what can I say about Natalya? She graduated from the Heart Dungeon. She know how to work. So,
Yeah, dude.
I ain't
This Tamina and Nia Jax thing, I don't get it. I don't understand it, and I don't know why they keep on giving it to me. I don't know why this has been in the main event. There could have been 3 other matches tonight. Like, the work tonight that we saw was absolutely fantastic. You know, you had the good match with Ziggler and McIntyre. Then you had Ambrose and Apollo Crews. That could have ended the show. Man. Then you had the Lashley versus Rollins match. All these were great quality work, and then you end with this match, man. I mean, I'm just not a fan of it. So I got nothing else good to say. So
I
I'm
ain't
not
got
gonna say anything
nothing
at all.
else to say.
So,
But
man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
overall, the show was good.
It was
Starting
good,
off
man.
the New Year or New Year's Eve with this, the show was good. I really enjoyed the fact that I believe that WWE on Raw brand is trying to right the ship.
Yep.
And I believe that I want to give them the benefit of the doubt now and say they will continue doing well at least up until March.
Yeah, they're gonna ride this momentum up until WrestleMania. I have big
I
faith in
don't
them.
even think they get that far. What I'm saying is good shows. I think they will go all the way until March with good shows, but then the creative's going to get stalled again. I don't know if because I don't feel what they're playing up, the storylines and angles they're playing up will still be exciting after March.
Truth. Yeah, man. It does leave me excited to actually watch Raw next week. And if I had to give this Raw an overall grade, I would give it a B plus. Everything was good. I enjoyed most of it, besides like the Singh brothers and Jinder Mahal, that kind of stuff. The Tamina Snuka. Didn't really enjoy the last like 40 minutes of everything. But what would you give this as far as a
I
letter
give
grade?
it I'll say a B.
B. Tell a B.
Just a B. You were good. You got a few marks off, but you still got enough points. So
Dude,
you got a B. But I ain't got nothing more to say about it, bro. What about you?
Dude, man, I got nothing else, man. What you got for him?
Nothing but it's been your boys once again. No jobbers allowed, and like always, I was big-ish, and with me like always was.
Man, it is your guy, Erwin. Happy New Year, and we out.
Happy New Year. We out.